This is Justin AMZN on Monday, August 27th, 2018. And looking at the pre-market, nice little support here about 1912, nice little resistance here about 1916 from this morning, and then from Friday, and looking like we're opening up right in that range. So the first couple candles here, first one is a bearish candle. Now, one thing I'll mention on the daily is this is a bearish candle. On the data. I can't show you the data because I didn't get it set up for this. But Thursday was a bearish candle. Friday was a bearish candle, inside candle. And here we are gapping up. We opened right here about 1915. We actually gapped up above the open of both of these days, which is very, very strongly bullish. So I'm looking for a pullback into this 1912, and that to hold as a support here. Don't get in the first candle. We do get in the second candle. And it was right in here that I was getting in bullish, thinking, okay, this is really good support. This is a really good gap. It pulled back. I'm getting in here like 1912 by like 1910. And I did it with the options. I'll show you what I did. I pulled back a little bit more. Inside candle here. A lot of bearish candles. Inside candle again. Actually, I think my stop was a little lower because I didn't get stopped out here, but it looked like it could be. So I'm in somewhere in here, like 1912 by, it's probably a little bit lower. The somewhere in here. We'll have to look at where it actually was. Anyway, didn't get stopped out there. And then from here, it's inside and then starts breaking out. And it moves up here to 1918, which is great, but it's only a little bit above 1916. It pulls back into it here. And then goes sideways to up, and it's up here. And I think I had something going on, but couldn't get out way up here, which would have been a great place, nice target from Thursday, right up in that range. And I ended up just trailing up the stop through this, but I had a target set further up. And it pulled back. I think I got trailed out here, which was really unusual from... I only moved up the stop a little bit, so I got stopped out for a small loss, and I think it was on that candle. It was either I think I moved my stop up and got trailed out on one of these candles, which I thought was really bizarre because this was in, and I didn't get trailed out there, but it was one of these, that one or that one, and I was just really surprised. But while this was moving up, the premium was just being sucked out of the calls. Now, this week's calls expiring this Friday on the 31st, and I was in the 1940, so that's what I got set up to take a look at. But anyway, this just goes sideways for a long time. Just goes sideways. Got a nice resistance here about 1920. Got some higher highs, and it's getting really, really consolidated in here. Really nice momentum squeeze here, and it gets some really, really small candles. And right in here, it's like, oh, okay, we're about to do something. You've almost run out of room, and this is breaking out. It breaks out, it pulls back, and if you weren't already in or weren't still in from earlier, this is the place to get in on this pullback. It holds right about the 1920 price. Comes back. The low here is 19.20 and 20 cents. So it's holding that range, and it was a great breakout, retest, go, and that's what we're looking for. And then it does go, pulls back again. Here's our previous all-time high, about 1925. We get up into that, and then we continue pushing on into the close. So we closed above it. New all-time high today. And the best trade would have been, and wow, 1933 after hours, amazing. Okay, so the best trade would have been getting in down here where I got in, but then all of this just made the premium just drop out of the call I was in, the 1940 call. I thought it's a Monday, we got a bunch of days, that's out of the money, but it's not that far away, looking for a move higher, a very strong move higher after these candles on the daily. So here's the daily now, let's zoom in. So this is inside candle, bearish candle. So this is a nice little triangle here between these two, and then we gap above both of those. We gap up not to a new all-time high on the gap up, but this was our previous high close. and a bullish candle, and we were still below that. But all of these bears are trapped. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bearish candles here, and I guess you can include these. Anybody shorting here, this open was above all these ones since that price there. This is a bullish gap and go, and it made a new all-time high, and it's almost a shaved top, which means people are buying this right into the close. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. If we do end up having this gap up, if we're just going to run and continue this, because after this kind of consolidation, we've seen this before: consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, totally can break out. I mean, that's what this thing keeps doing. Consolidates, breaks higher, retest. Consolidates, breaks higher, retest. Consolidates, breaks higher, retest. So it can break out and continue and then still do a retest later, like in a couple weeks, it could do a retest. This could really be the breakout. Like we could hit 2000 even. So anyway, the 1940 call didn't seem like it was that crazy of an idea. So this is the 1940 call expiring this Friday. The price from Friday, expiring this Friday, sorry, the price from last Friday, the low here is 540. It came pretty close here, 560 here. And I was getting into it, I think it was 650 by 550. Similar to this range here, 650, looking for this kind of a pullback. It pulled into it, then continued lower, didn't get stopped out here. And then it went higher, but didn't even go up in R. So I didn't have a target here. My target was further up, I think around this range up here, 950, 1050, something like that, looking for a few R's for this to just go. And it didn't. It actually pulled back. So, it didn't make a higher high here on the day. And if I was watching it, that would have been a great opportunity to say, okay, let's just get out and do something else. And so I moved my stop up at some point to 6. I was in at 650. So it was right in here. So at 1130, this candle, that candle got me. Okay. Yeah, I got in down here. That candle trailed me out or stopped me out for half an hour lost, which is just crazy, but that's how options work sometimes. So this was virtual, but still, it would trade the same way for real. So anyway, it's getting over in here and very similar setup, 625 by 525. Went a little lower with my stop because this came right in here, but could have done 550 again. And I, again, had to do something, so I just set the stop or set a target at about 725 just to grab an R, looking for this to move back up into this range. And it ended up breaking out, and I think it hit that 725 right here. So that candle is at 210. Oops. So 210. So this candle. So I got out of the trade on that candle with it just set up to hit the target and get out, which was good. That worked. A little bit below all-time high. No guarantee it was going to get there, but a nice breakout, and then it retested and then continued higher. So had I not set that close of a target, had I gone with a higher target up in this range, probably would have gotten out up here. But that would have been, kind of a nail biter into the close. You're not sure what it's going to do, ends up breaking out, but it could have just reversed and, maybe not have gotten that good of a value. So I was happy that I lost a little bit earlier, made it back on this later trade. It was up a little bit less than an R with my setup, but it was still, just doing $100 risk on these options. So that's why, I really like the 1940 price or strike, because it gave you such a nice range that you could easily do $100 R. There's some other options that probably would have moved better. Like if we look at the 1925, that one didn't really lose as much value, but didn't give you as nice of a range. Could have gotten in on that pullback way down here and then looked for it to come back to the high of the day. It did that there. So the 1925 strike worked better for that. But then later in the day, when I was getting in up over here, wherever that was, probably could have set up, like 1150 by 1050, and that would have worked really well, really well. But all these had a lot of price just getting pulled out of it as it went sideways. So this is one you would have really been waiting, and probably would have missed the breakout. Maybe gotten in a retest or that retest, looking for it to hold these levels. So had you done that on this one, that would have been buying the low at 215. That would have been buying the low at 215, which is this candle. So the low in here is low is 1267. So had you set it up for like 13 by 12, that, you may not have gone that tight on this option. That's what's really tough on this one. And with the range being right here, it already touched this level, which had done earlier, and then again here. You're not thinking, oh, breakout when it's so close to all-time high. You're thinking, well, it may pull back a little more. And so it's unlikely you'd set up a trade 13 by 12 looking for it to hit 15 or 16 at this point. So it's really what's going on with the trade, what it's doing, how it's moving, and how you can actually set up a trade to win something and mitigate your risk. So this is a great consolidation. I don't even think I noticed the squeeze earlier, but obviously looking at this kind of a tight range, it's definitely squeezing into a little bit of it. I mean, it was already squeezing in here. And then it pulled back into the 21, which is dancing on the 21 for a long time. Even had a false close below that didn't end up going any further. So you really could have gotten really tight with this setup. Like a $2 risk on the stock, like 1920 by 1918 would have worked. Once you got into this hour of the day, that would have worked and would have made a little bit. And then the puts, they just lost value pretty much all day. So that's all I wanted to show you on that. Coming back in here, I probably should have drawn some lines in here like this one right at 1900, but it's really easy to see 1900, 1905 would have worked, or 1903 or 1905, something like that. One of those would have worked, but 1900, nice round number. Let's see if we pull this back a little bit. Okay, so some of that's on the screen here. So this is where we had gotten to before with our all-time high. Now we've pulled back from there. We're right back up into it, and we're breaking out. And so a continuation, maybe up to 1940, 1950. We've never been up here before, so there'll be people buying, but everybody is profitable who's already bought. Maybe they're looking to get out. 1950 is a nice round number, and then a pullback down to 1925, and then a bounce. That could happen all in the day trading world tomorrow. Could come up to 1950, pull back to 1925, and then continue. Or it could just break out tomorrow and then pull back the next day and then go higher again. The only other thing I can think of is if this gap's below this candle, you're trapping people into the close. It's 2 cents off the high. It's basically a shaved top. So if you gap below this, we'll probably have a pullback into, how far can we go? At least that low, around 18, maybe 1850. Look like we're rolling down. Take out that low or hold it. 1841. Something like that would be a great pullback. That's if it gaps down. I don't think it's going to. Just because this really looks such a strong bullish candle, but we'll really see. We'll see how this ends up playing out. When we did this all-time high breakout, we actually gapped down, traded lower, and then with earnings, we gapped way up again. So we don't have earnings yet, but if we have this kind of new all-time high, and we break down and actually trade down a little bit in here, down into one of these red lines, then that's the place to look for buying down there. Down here at 1880 would be a nice place to look for some buying for this thing to hold the 21. and then continue on higher the next couple of days this week. Maybe even by the end of the week, it'll be, they're 50 points higher. So look for buying on the pullback, unless something happens with the chart that says, yeah, we need to not be buying right now. And then you either just wait or you look for a very aggressive counter trend, ideally day trade or possibly swing trade. Definitely short term, either way you go. Short term and just be looking to protect the position. So anyway, new all-time high. We will take another look tomorrow and see what happens next. Hope you enjoyed the video. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.